So I went to this singles event last night in Houston called Crush Club. And hopefully this doesn't get in the wrong eyeballs, but black men that talk to white women and kind of like push you away when you're trying to talk to them, it's kind of crazy. Like, I was talking to this gentleman last night at the event, and I just stumbled upon him. He was at the bar and I was going towards the bar, and I started talking to him, and he was a nice statuesque black guy. Like, they have all these stickers that had color codes. So basically, like, green was like 21 to 24, purple was 25 to 27 or something, and then or 29, and then orange was like 30 and 30 to 34, and then red, which was what I was wearing, is 35 and up. No cap. So he had a red sticker on, and I was like, okay, so he's in my age range or whatever. So I started talking to him, and he's with this Latino guy, and they're just, chatting it up or whatever. And I was like, okay, finally I'm finding the people with the red tags on. How are you guys doing? Just, mingling. I have no problem talking to anybody. So he says, I'm doing good. And he's like really chipper and really like, over the top, kind of just like, not flamboyant, but like boisterous and, full of energy. Super chill, seemed like, or whatever. But he kept looking over me. He's taller than me, and he kept looking over me. And he was like doing these eyes at his Latino friend. I was like, okay, well, how long have you guys been here? And he ends up saying like, oh no, we just got here maybe like 30 minutes ago. And I was like, okay, I've been here for about an hour. Have you already stopped by the bar? Or this is, he was like, no, I'm not actually going to the bar. I just like staying by the bar line because, people are moving and it's more accessible. And I was like, okay, that makes sense. Like, cool. All right, well, anyways, like, what's your name? And I see it on his name tag, but I always like to say, what's your name? I don't remember his name. Let's not even go there because irrelevant. But he keeps looking at this Latino guy like over and beyond me. And I was like, well, you know what? I'm not going to hold you guys up. It was nice to meet you. I just like to mingle and say hello to everybody. 2 seconds later, this motherfucker is with this white girl. And I'm like, oh, my bad. I wasn't your type, my nigga. Sorry for interrupting your swag for the white girls. No offense, but like, it's just so curious and like different. Like, I don't know. I go to a lot of black spaces. So when I go to these spaces, I know that the niggas like other niggas, but.
Was she really expecting to be everyone's type? The only reason he was looking in another direction was that just like everyone else, he has his own preferences, and there's nothing wrong with it. He likes who he likes.
When you're in these kind of spaces and like everybody's involved, it's kind of one of those things where you're just like, you're unsure, so you don't want to step on any toes. And throughout the night, I saw this guy, not looking, but we're in a space where it's like, okay, if you already talk to somebody, that kind of like piques your eye when you're in that space still. So this man talked to at least 4 white girls only. And mind you, there were several beautiful black ladies there. And that's okay. That's your preference. Nobody is talking about the preference. Let's not go there. Let's not say, oh, why can black girls date white guys and white guys can't date white girls? I mean, black guys can't date white girls. We're not comparing. It's just how he was like basically looking through me like I was like invisible. Like,
happens to men all the time. I understand when women are more interested in someone else. It's part of life. Just get used to it. This has been my experience the entire time I've lived in London. You just weren't his type. That's normal and that's okay. He don't owe you no convo because you a black woman. Are we okay? His preference was the Latino guy he was with.
I get your preference, but you can also show me respect and like speak to me if I'm just talking to you. And you don't have to like look through me and like, be looking over to your friend like, fuck this chick, let's talk to her. Like, I don't know, kind of weird. But black guys that do that, it's just, it's like, bitch, and he's dark skinned. I look like your mom. Like, okay.
The way a black man who prefers other women over a black woman ain't ever gotta worry about me. He can be the finest man in the world, but he'll immediately become corny and unattractive to me. I think he has a right not to want to date you. What if it was the other way around? Me and my girls went last month, but we won't be going back. Great concept, but definitely not for us. I don't even care. They can have them. First mistake was attending a singles event. I'm still confused about where she was coming from, because based on what she described, it seems she simply had an interaction with a guy who wasn't interested, and that was it. For some reason, she believes he owes her some sort of consideration, just because they look alike. But that's not how things work in the dating scene. He had his own preferences, and since she wasn't part of it, he didn't feel the need to engage in any conversation, and that's normal. It's the same thing most guys deal with regularly, so there's really no reason to make a video about being rejected. What amazed me most was the number of comments suggesting that the only reason he wasn't interested was that he probably likes men. By their logic, that's the only explanation for his reaction, which makes no sense. This kind of thinking implies that guys aren't supposed to have preferences and should date any woman who shows interest. But that's not real, and it makes me wonder how they would react if the roles were reversed.
Women with multiple baby daddies, multiple kids, ooh, I might have to stay away from y'all for sure.
You know, I'm not being treated the way that I know that I should be treated, and I'm not fit to stick around because we got a kid together.
So what's your situation? How many, do you have kids?
I have kids.
How many kids do you have?
I have 4. I have 4 kids.
How many baby fathers do you mind me asking?
I mean, it doesn't matter.
No, I'm not, we're going to be honest and transparent.
I have 3.
Okay, so when you say there's certain situations, especially like, you know, the decisions you make.
She understands where he was coming from, which is why she tried to skip that question. The reality is that when looking for someone to build a life with, most guys want to make sure they're with someone who has the right mindset, someone who is both able and willing to work on things when challenges come up. We know relationships require hard work from both sides, and unless everyone involved is willing to do their part, it simply won't work. That's why that question was so important. It revealed how she handled issues in her previous relationships. And from what we can see, she doesn't seem like the type of person who tries to work things out, which explains why she left those 3 guys she had a child with. No guy wants to be the next one left behind just because his partner gave up on the problem that could have been resolved.
I went to a singles event last night, and I have to say it was the worst singles event I've ever been to. I had a horrible time, and here is why. But basically it was a speed dating event but with food, and every course the men would kind of change tables and the women would stay seated. So every single table I was on, I was seated with people with like just terrible energy, men who were just really not my cup of tea, who just I would never date in 1,000 years. And I actually came across a few people that, you know, like when you sit next to someone and they kind of suck your energy. I had this several times. So many people were so negative, and I was just completely over it. I was just like, you know what, I just don't want to be here right now.
Then they complain when they attend a singles event and no men show up. I'm not sure what her expectations were. Maybe she imagined a 6-foot Chad, but that's not realistic. The thing about singles events is that most women attending them don't seem to have a real understanding of the kind of guys they're likely to meet. They don't realize the men they expect to find at these gatherings usually don't need such events to meet women, since they already have plenty of options. Meanwhile, the small percentage of guys who still do show up are the ones spending their hard-earned money just to be rejected.
So New York singles, what do we think about some people trying to capitalize on our loneliness? Because I feel like some of these singles events are getting out of hand. Like obviously everybody can do whatever they want with their product and with their money, but some price tags are kind of like really exaggerated in my taste. So my friends and I saw this singles event that's happening today in New York City, and we thought, okay, let's go like figure out the price tag, like how much the tickets are. And obviously when I see a singles event, I assume it's going to be 80% women, 20% men, 10% of the men are probably taken and they're not gonna say it, which I experienced a lot in New York. A lot of guys have girlfriends and they're not saying they have girlfriends and they will flirt with you, which is crazy. And they will follow you on Instagram too, which is crazy. Anyway, so we thought, okay, like, let's go, like, it might be fun. But the ticket for this singles event is $120. $120 for an event. Like, what are you selling me? Fucking caviar? What are you selling me? Like, what? To come and attend your event? Like, are you covering food and drinks?
Not long ago, these events used to be free for women, but over time, event planners realized they were no longer making any money as guys weren't attending, so they decided to change their strategy. Charging women became the only way to make a profit, but now even women are losing interest since they're not getting what they're paying for. They have realized there's no point in spending money to meet men when they end up in a room full of other women who are looking for the same thing. They are selling the idea of meeting Prince Charming when they know he won't be present. In fact, currently only women are attending this event. Imagine paying that amount just to meet other women. That is the reality of most women buying those tickets, and they are not happy about it.
As a man, how can you sit there and say, with no shame at all, that you're okay going 50-50 with your wife? When I hear a man say that, I sit there with great shame knowing that someone from the same gender as me is not capable of providing for his wife. I'm not even say capable, he just can't be arsed doing it. Yeah, because I know that if it were me, I would work 3 jobs before I go and tell my wife that she has to work. No chance. And that's not to say that all women deserve a great husband like me that's willing to go and work 3 jobs just for her and the family. Some of them don't deserve that. You get me? However, my concern is men. I want men to strive and become the best, become providers, become role models. And when a man says that to me, I'm just like, shameful, man. By all means, my wife can work if she wants to. However, she just needs to know that she doesn't have to. That is it.
This is just another guy talking without having a clue about that topic. The reality is that most guys simply can't afford what he suggested. Even if they wanted to, it's just not possible. He sounds like someone living in a bubble, completely unaware that most people earn an average income, which isn't enough to fully support a family. Yet he wants to make it seem as though a man who isn't paying for everything isn't doing his job. I bet he doesn't even know what's the average salary. And that's the problem with people who create this kind of content. Anyone with even a basic understanding of the subject knows that many couples are barely getting by, even with both partners working. And here he is, a clueless TikTok alpha male, suggesting that the man should pay for everything. He needs to step out of that fantasy and come back to the real world. This is all for today's video, and I hope you guys enjoyed it.